As far as my dieting goes, I have decided that man cannot live by a diet. Man, woman can't live by a diet. Diet
No,
has
it's
to
not
be,
dieting, man.
yeah,
It's not
dieting, but
dieting.
diet is a general term of what you eat. Dieting is not something we can live by. We can cut calories and we can eat better foods, but to just go on the carnivore diet or the low carb diet or the Atkins diet or the whatever else is out there, that's not going to last, and you're not going to eat that way forever. And then you go back to here was my plan.
Well, you don't know me. I mean, let's
Well,
say
I don't. I do.
breakfast.
You're right. I don't know you. You're
My
Brazil.
breakfast, my breakfast, I had a good chunk of venison with eggs
Yeah, and
and hadn't had anything to eat all day and just got home. I had a big old bowl of venison stew that was on the slow cooker for about 8 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is it, but mostly heavy protein, heavy fat, and
and for
low
someone
number
like
of
me,
sugars.
I have to watch the amount of protein that I eat. My kidneys are fine, but kidney disease and all that runs in my family. So I do watch. So for me, it's a balanced diet of protein, carbs, and fats, and I think they're all important. But here's what I do: only eat whole muscle meat now. So I don't eat any processed meats other than if you eat a hamburger and it's 80-20 ground whatever.
Do
But
you eat any organ meat,
I yes, in a sense I
liver,
do.
heart?
I don't eat any heart. I do eat liver, but I eat it in scrapple. That's one of, I guess, the processed foods I would eat, or liver mush. But to eat organ meat, no, I wouldn't say I eat a lot of it. I did when I was younger, but
I mean,
I
venison liver is pretty nice. I like it a
oh yeah, it's
lot, a
very good.
lot.
But
And the heart too is one of my favorite parts.
the heart,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
delicious.
So are you sure that you don't have an Aztec? I was going with the Brazilian barbecue, but now I think you're Aztec because I saw Apocalypto where they reach in and take out the heart and hold it up, and
Yeah, I do that in every kill. Right now I'm on my third heart is in the fridge, ready
yeah,
for breakfast tomorrow.
there you go. You're Pinto Apocalypto. There's your name. There's your
Hey,
nickname.
running with the Jaguar, it goes with the team, right?
That's right, baby. So with me, it's whole muscle meat, a lot of chicken and fish and beef, but mostly chicken and fish. And if I want beef, I eat it. Um, I eat bread, but I don't eat as much as I was eating before, and I cut out all the cane sugar as far as drinks go.
Yeah.
Water and tea or flavored waters, and typically I like to flavor my waters with natural juices and stuff. But here's a really cool thing, and this is actually something you can keep up: is protein replacement drinks. I started drinking a smoothie every day, and I drink a smoothie for breakfast with a banana. Other vegetables, a little scoop of oatmeal in it. I mean, like a 500-calorie breakfast, but it's
Have you
that with
tried
greens.
have you tried adding a half of an avocado there on your with your smoothie?
I do have avocados, and I don't mind eating them. They're really good fats, but I haven't
No,
put
no,
them
no,
in
no.
there.
What I'm talking about putting them and blending them in your smoothie. That's how we have avocados in Brazil. That was
Yes.
one of the culture shocks that I had when I came here. People putting avocados on salads. Over there, we consider it a fruit and we eat it with, honey and
Oh
other
wow.
sweet things.
Well, I'll have to try that because we're a sucker for avocados. With 10 for a dollar,
And
I'm throwing them in the
you
basket. Yeah.
you blend it with on a banana smoothie, man. That thing is delicious. The thing is,
Yeah.
you gotta don't put a whole lot, otherwise it gets really thick.
Yeah.
Right? Then you gotta eat it with a spoon. You know.
Well,
Well,
it's all about being healthy and enjoying life.
Avocados are awesome. I really like it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm healthy or particularly enjoying life, to be honest.
Did you eat Domino's tonight?
No, I actually made eggs and bacon tonight, and it's eggs from the yard. So that's one of my better meals. But I've been traveling too much, and you know how it is, Chip. When you're on the road, unless you just want to go buy cucumbers at the grocery store, I even try to just order a burger and no fries, or order, something small. But everything that comes on a plate, number one, you're paying $15 for it. Number two, it's like 1.5 times as much food as you need. Well, I don't know. I struggle with that when I'm on the road.
I started going to the grocery store and buying either a little bit of lunch meat. I'll buy some baked bread, not loaf bread, and I'll buy cans of soup and go back and eating soup and a sandwich and stuff like that. Because you're right. But I have to tell you guys, I got a gift of a knife this week, and I will tell you about that in a second.
Really?
3, 2, 1, 0, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce. You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast. Featuring Jason Fry.
Yeah, I've been just been doing what we do.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Eric T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Mark Vasallo.
There would be a lot of places I would launch myself to.
Chip Carlisle. We've had a raccoon come through the screen door down in the family room.
I was a mean kid.
And Josh Ferran. And now, broadcasting across planet Earth, it is the Knives Templars, coming to you live from Porkhouse Studios right here in Hartselle, Alabama, and scattered across the country. We are on demand, and it's time to sit back and enjoy another show of the KnivesTemplars.com. So here I am, Chip Carlisle, with Mark V. Max here tonight, who the fellow that is here to testify that Otis here is no longer a mean kid. He's a sweet adult. He's a sweet adult. Jason, do you agree with that? Can we get a? I agree.
I do. I think it's all the fruity avocados that he consumes.
Yes, right. Sweeten him right up. He's no longer a mean kid. And we've got. It looks like who slid in here at the last minute. It looks like Josh Foran.
Mr. Josh.
I do exist.
Foran, and yes, you do. So we've got Josh Foran, Jason Knight, Mark V. Max Vasallo, Otis here, Pinto, Chip Carlisle. Jason, you didn't cut me off.
I looked at you funny. That was close.
You did look at me funny. We got Jason Fry. Jason Voorhees. No, Jason Fry. It is October. Jason Voorhees. You should put your name up tonight as Jason Voorhees.
Maybe.
So, hey guys,
one of my favorite characters, man, Jason.
Yes, he is. He's gotten old. We lost Sid, the guy that played Captain Spaulding in The Devil's Rejects. So all of my heroes are going away. So we don't need to lose Sid, or the guy that played. What was the guy's name that played Jason Voorhees? Y'all can look it up. Saw a picture of him at a show this past weekend. Somebody I know on Facebook was at one of those shows where you sign, and he was there signing. He looked a little frail. Didn't look as Jason as he used to. So, guys, welcome to the Knives Templars. We are back for another episode. We are the greatest podcast on the internet, in the universe. Don't let anybody tell you different. I'm Chip Carlisle, and we're here with our co-host here tonight, and we are here to talk knives. We've been talking dieting. Sorry, Josh, if you want to talk about diet plans, you can get on with us here in a second. But we have moved on, and I did tell everybody, guys, I got a gift knife this week, and I had gone to North Carolina to work, and a gentleman by the name of Denny sent me a knife through a friend over, and it was really kind of cool. I wish I had brought it up here to show to you. Maybe one of the breaks I'll run down and bring it back up and show. But it is a railroad spike that's polished out and nice and pretty with kind of a grayish patina to it, and it is welded to a mower blade. and it has been sharpened and has a nice stamp maker mark in it. So it's kind of like an ulu with a railroad spike, twisted railroad spike coming off the top of it. And the blade's a little flatter, not as round as an ulu, but yeah, I'm looking forward to using that on some barbecue or cutting some stuff up. It's kind of cool. So it's nice when somebody gives you a knife. I've never received a knife from 3 of the 4 of you, so just letting you know that. It's a fact. It's a fact. I've got one from Eric, one from Otis here, and one from Denny. So just letting you know, if you want to go into the case of fame, I'm always willing and waiting. And by the way, Otis here, I did reclaim my knife back from my son. I traded him one of mine, so I've got my Otis here back. So I'm all good with that. So my son loved Otis here's knife, so I said, well, take good care of it. And when I told Otis here that one time, he was like, son of a bitch. No, he kept a real nice face, but I could read it behind his eyes. And I didn't want to just take it back for my son. And it wasn't that I didn't love it. I loved it so much. I was like, yeah, here. Cause, yeah, he gave it back when I gave him one of mine. And he said, I like this one better, just so you know, Otis here. But it wasn't as pretty as yours. It was just from his dad was all. So that's the only reason.
Of course.
Still a beautiful knife
story.
So, what have you guys been up to? What have you been up to? Let's start with you, Jason.
Man, I have been traveling. I have been to South Texas and back every other week for the last 2 months. It's getting old, honestly, but it's okay. It's what we do. Pays the bills. Keeps me out of the shop. Keeps me on airplanes and in airports and hotels. I've been hustling hard on the other book and the podcast circuit. I've been cheating on you guys with as many podcasters as I could find wherever I can pick them up.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of clips. Yes.
Yeah, it's like I suddenly went to college and started chasing girls, except it's all just podcasts. And I have this one faithful podcast that I'm with, but I'm up for a one night stand podcast. Like, I mean, we're cool like that. No, so I think I've done 6 in the last 3 weeks or something.
Relationship and stuff, or what? What's going on?
No, just again talking about politics, which is not what this one's about. But that's my other side hustle on top of my knife side hustle, on top of my writing side hustle, on top of my kids, on top of my day job. So
we're allowed to side hustle. We are allowed to side hustle. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Especially you got a great story to tell. I've been reading your book and I actually enjoy your perspective. I would say that it's good common sense. I don't know if I am in. Let's just say I'm not aligned with everything, with everything, but a lot of it is just fundamental common sense. And guys, this is the way we can all get along. But it is a very good book.
That's all I'm after is what if we don't fight? That would be great.
Yes. And it's a very good book. And I encourage people to go out and get a copy of Jason Fry's book. You can probably
I have some bad news for you, man.
What is that?
Yeah, get a lot of knives ready because there will be a fight.
There will be a fight. Yeah, well,
have you ever seen any divorce that is not messy?
That has got a chance. I have seen some messy divorces. They usually don't end up in people stabbing each other, though.
Well, that's what happens when you cheat on a knife making podcast.
I guess that's true. I guess next time I'm around y'all, I better watch my back. Well played, Josh.
I'll put it this way: if you start your own knife making contest or knife making podcast, sometimes you do get the act. So
fair,
which is fine. We still love you. We just don't let you. And you can go be a guest on another podcast, but we don't let you have a. What do you call it?
All other one night stands. I'm going to their place. They don't get to come to my place.
I don't care about one night stands, but no marrying 2 people, no marrying 2 podcasts. So
no, that's a little much.
No, up front that would be just fine. What we're talking about is our buddies spent off and started the Crafted Edge, and Joey and those guys have got a wonderful podcast that they started. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you haven't heard them, go out and listen to the Crafted Edge. And I'm just poking a little fun. So that's all. But yeah, so they should read your book.
I did do a couple of actual knife things today, though. Like, I just got home last night about 9 o'clock from a long trip, but today I had a guy bring me a katana. It was about a $500 production katana, so not, above Mall Ninja level, like pretty all right, but not handmade, but still pretty solid. And he had been cutting stuff with it and put a nick in the edge and wanted to know if I could polish it back out. And it's like, well, yeah, I bet we can. So I got to play with the katana today.
Sweet.
Also, this is one of the strangest knives I've ever made. I had some guys from the engineering department ask me if I could help them make a blade, and it was a part of their project from their senior capstone class, and so they had CAD drawings of this thing and very precise measurements and all this stuff, and I said, well, I'm sort of half capable of that. Like, if we're talking 1,000th, I'm like, I don't want to do 10,000th tolerances. I'm not that good at, they didn't care. They just had to draft it that way. So those guys brought me some blades today, and they are these kind of goofy shaped triangular things that's made to open a can of cat food with a hydraulics somehow. So they built this holder that would hold the cat food can vertically, like sitting up, not like flat. And then they have a knife blade that kind of cuts the thing open. It's the way they've designed it. And so I sharpened their blades for them today. And who knows how it'll work. I was like, hey, you want to show off? They're like, what do you mean? I was like, well, do you want me to make one of these so you can shave hair with it off your arm or not? so we did one of them that'll shave hair off of their arm just so they can show off a little bit. But I think they said they're 304, so like non-hardenable stainless. So there's no telling. No telling.
We will find out.
Definitely one of the strangest things that I have sharpened is an engineering project cat food opener out of non-hardenable stainless steel.
There you go.
Check that one off the list.
Yeah, no kidding. Don't have to do that anymore. I can totally retire now.
Retire. Yeah, we transferred some money into our financial planner, and man, I've got 6 years, and then I'm gonna let the government start giving me money, and I'm gonna use my retirement savings, and I'm gonna sit home and be a full-time knife maker when I feel like it. Oh, I can't wait for those days. Sorry,
that's cool, man. That's cool.
It made me think about retire, and look as young as I look. Look how young I look. Gosh,
you're just a spring chicken. You can you'll be the hit at all the retirement parties.
I will. I think all the 80-year-olds will be coming after me, but
they will.
I will. They will.
Especially if Rock Me Amadeus comes on. Yeah. That's right.
Yes. I will be 60 years old here in a couple months. So 60.
Oh my.
I don't know if Josh Ferran will still hang out with me anymore. Would you, Josh?
Only because I can't count that high.
Oh, good. How is Mama? How is Mama Cow?
Mama Cow has made a full recovery. Knock on wood. She's doing very well. Baby Cow is getting really big and drinking up all the milk, which is good. And we'll hopefully be able to keep milking her throughout, like the calf growing up, and then once we wean the calf, we'll be able to milk her a little bit more. But once the calf's off of her, we're gonna dry her off and let her just live out her days as a quote unquote pasture puppy.
Yeah. Well, if you need anybody to do any hoof work, I actually watched several episodes of the Hoof GP today on YouTube. I think I can do that. That looks like a lot of fun work.
I don't know about fun.
Are you familiar with the Hoof? Are you familiar with the Hoof GP?
Yeah, the one that like digs all those rocks and stuff out of the hooves.
Yeah, it's like, they've got like 1.5. The other guy's got like 2.3 million subscribers, and I'm like, I would hang out behind a cow's rear end and have that stuff splashing all over me all day long. They've got to be making a pretty decent money.
They do. They make pretty good.
Right.
they make pretty good money, but you definitely you got it, like that kind of stuff, man. You got to know what you're doing because you can hurt the cow, and the same with the horse, right? Like you can lame a horse if you're not.
I already know how to do all this. I've watched enough episodes. I'm not going to screw up. I've watched enough episodes. I'm
Perfect.
good.
Well, I will pay the highest market price for you.
You got to just have that knife and you got to curve it up and stay off the corium. Make sure that if it's a white line defect that you get in there and you take it down, realizing that vertical wall on the hoof takes about 8 months to grow out. So you've got to protect that thing as much as you can and not go into it any more than you can. And a little salicylic acid and iodine will dry that up and kill that dermatitis and go a long way. I think I'm qualified. Don't that sound like
glue a little tennis shoe to the bottom?
Yeah. Go for it.
Yes, got to glue a block on, and I've already got an angle grinder that I used to cut steel with. I don't use it anymore, so I'm good to go there. I've got a tool. I just got to get a hoof grater.
Spinning wheel of death going.
Yeah. I have a feeling you're not going to let me
go wrong. Yeah,
you're not going to let me intern on your cow, are you?
I'll pay you the highest market price.
Well, really, pasture cows don't really get into those issues.
She does really good. She sloughs off like all the extra. Like as her hoofs like grow out, they eventually just kind of like crack, and then they peel out, and then she's good to go. And we've had her.
Do you ever have to go in and dress them?
We haven't yet, and she's got really good hooves, and so it's. What we're doing, which is nothing, seems to be working so far. But she pretty much like self like trims, so we don't really have to go in and do a whole lot. And she's on grass and dirt and mud and all that stuff, so she doesn't really have anything too extreme. I think the worst thing she has to worry about are armadillo holes.
Right. All right. For some reason, my computer was saying trying to reconnect, and you broke up a little bit, but I got the most of it. So it looks like we're reconnected there. We'll see what happens. Otis here.
So you got armadillos in your property too?
Sorry?
Oh, yeah. We're full of armadillos here.
Oh, yeah. They're bad.
Yeah,
we got them all over the place. And the thing about Alabama is we got the
their shells make really good.
They do. The only thing is, and I've through certain situations have had opportunity to end up with a few shells. However, the only reason I haven't really pursued that is Alabama has a 9-banded armadillos, and those have been known to be able to carry leprosy. And whereas the 6-banded armadillos or whatever that they've got down in South America, they typically don't. But the 9-banded up here.
Well, actually, we do have a lot of leprosy going on in a few states in Brazil due to the armadillo.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And what they do have there are some monster-sized armadillos there. I don't remember the exact name, but it's huge. It's way bigger than a coon.
Oh.
Right? And those things are, they make some big old holes
like
in the ground. They use dogs to go after the thing.
Harlequin or something like that?
No,
Pangolin, that's it.
No. Those are armadillos. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Those do carry a lot of leprosy. There's a lot of people suffering from that disease in a couple of states there where those armadillos are very, fruitful, and there's a lot of them in there. And people do like to eat them.
You just need to cook them. You need to cook them thoroughly, like we do here. You just have to cook them thoroughly.
No. The problem is, I think the bacteria is on the outside, and as you handle the thing, right, it gets into your skin, and
so it's the time from the armadillo being an armadillo to being dinner. That in between part is what you got to worry about.
I think we could forge a hook that holds them where you don't have to touch them until you scald them in 165-degree water for 15 minutes.
Could do that.
Could be a market
Forged
for that.
armadillo hook.
No, forge. It's like a large steak turner. I don't know. You guys are forge
I was
guys.
thinking the
Let us
old
know what you come up
like
with.
ice blocks or like log dogs where you've got the hooks, so you just
ice tongs, except
armadillo tongs.
See?
That's the title of this episode is Armadillo Tongs.
There you go. We got the engineers moving now. Now they've already come up with new tools. Armadillo
really gotta
tongs.
make a trip to your property.
Oh yeah, dude. If
When
you
you
ever
shoot
come to
armadillos,
Alabama,
it's kind of like if you shoot armadillos, it's kind of like deer. You have to consider the fact that the deer may raise up when he hears that arrow let go. With a armadillo, they're going to jump like 6 feet in the air, just straight up. So you need to aim at least 3 feet in the air in hopes of hitting them.
So when I was a little kid, we had cows in some family properties, and being the armadillo hunter was one of the rites of passage, right, of a young man. You're finally big enough to carry not a BB gun, no Daisy, no Red Ryder, but you get to carry a pellet gun like a Benjamin, and 7 pumps of a Benjamin, even a 177, will penetrate an armadillo's forehead. I know this, trust me. And so yeah, that was always our mission as a young man, was to go get the armadillos, to protect the cows, to save the ranch from clearly certain destruction.
doing the Lord's work.
when we were kids, that's what they trained us to do. Now, who knows if they were full of crap or not? But we had a lot of fun.
Our armadillos typically come out at night around here. What are they in Texas?
They do, but they had us trained. If you saw one in the daytime, you went and got it.
I don't know. Are armadillos like a natural species from the U.S. or is it like
They're native. Yeah, and I don't just kill them now just for fun anymore. I mean, I was a little kid. I was following advice of the old dudes, right? I don't know if I'd train my kids to do that now or not, but that's the way it used to be. So
yeah, we just want to get rid of them.
Like Josh was saying, if you break your cow's leg, for Josh, that's a huge inconvenience. But for somebody who's trying to make a living off of cows,
groundhogs are a natural species from the U.S. But Maryland, we have no season; it's open year round.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, what am I going to do?
Yeah,
we're
groundhogs and armadillos are the
zone,
two.
Jason.
Yeah. Groundhog shooting's another category of judgment free for sure. Prairie dogs, same way.
Talking about groundhogs, way earlier in our history of the podcast, I sent a picture of a groundhog I stalked with, my handmade tomahawk. I was able to get up right on
a groundhog with a tomahawk? That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I snuck up on that thing from like 25, 30 yards away. The thing is now, luckily, the grass was high enough, and I was able to take a couple of steps and freeze, and the thing would stand up and look back, but I wasn't moving. So as soon as it went down, a couple of other steps and froze, and rinse and repeat, and I knew where the hole was, and I was able to get in between it and its burrow. So there was nowhere to go. By the time he saw me, I was already ready to go. Tomahawk.
That's awesome, man.
You got me beat.
Awesome. I have not tomahawked anything. I've slingshotted. I've just barehanded with a rock. I've bows and arrows, of course. That's easy. I have not tomahawked anything to death. Good job, man. That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm kind of picturing Otisir in full battle feathers and David Lee Roth 80s, wild man makeup running through the forest with his tomahawk.
Well, I told you, right, that I recently found out that I'm an eighth of a Native American from South America, right? So my grandmother was Native. So,
well, there you go.
Gotcha.
There you go.
you got to honor that heritage.
For sure.
I am 100% mutt.
Yeah, same here.
Little bits and pieces from everywhere. So
yeah, same.
But it's
so
okay.
the other pieces of me, I don't know where it came from, but yeah, I have the 8 of a native in there. That's pretty cool.
You could probably get a 501c3 business and some grant money.
Hey, who knows?
Just saying.
College
I'm just
scholarship or something.
Hey, you guys need to go out and visit tr-maker.com. He's got some of the greatest tools in the world. He's from Istanbul, Turkey, and he'll put it in your hands in just a few days from the other side of the world. That's tr-maker.com. Go visit today. Y'all are like, huh? Is that it? Was that it?
No, I was just thinking if I addressed it to Constantinople, will it still get there?
I don't know. He's in Istanbul.
Who knows?
I don't know.
It's nobody's business with the Turks.
Yeah. Hey, I got another one for you. RedeemSteel.com. They use their hands and their hearts and their faith to go out and change people's lives. They're over there in North Carolina, and they do a lot around the world to build homes for the homeless, schools for people, and just turn people's lives around. That's RedeemSteel.com. How do you like that? That's pretty good. Those are good, quick ads, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. I like it. Well, so we started 20 minutes ago. We started with, so Fry, what you been up to? And now we have chased armadillos through the woods with hatchet-wielding groundhogs and all kinds of fun stuff.
Well, we got a little bit into Josh.
Podcast, so what do you expect?
Yeah, no, that's cool. We did kind of get into Josh. I forgot. I was just trying to get us back on track.
Who needs to talk about back on track? Listen, we know we make knives, and I think we're evolving into a mix between the View and the 5-at-5. Pardon me. We're a mix between
not the View, man, not the View.
5-at-5.
Real low.
I know I did. The 5-at-5 on Fox and Joe Rogan. We're just a mix. We're just all over. Hell, we might even be talking about Elon Musk robots, which are pretty damn cool. Later on today.
Yeah, we should rename the podcast though.
What's that?
The Everything Templars podcast.
It's okay.
Everything.
It's an evolution. And if people don't like it, then I don't know why we're continuing to grow. So there you go. You go. They're not just here for the bald guys and the leopard stories or the jaguar stories. Right. So they're here for everything. Hey, speaking of knives, if you guys want to talk knives, I will be happy to do that. But I am going to tell you to go out to popsknifesupplies.com. They was started 40 years ago, and they're still doing a great job. If you go to Pop's Knife Supplies, I guarantee you're going to find just about everything you need for knife making. Matter of fact, I'll be over in Oakwood, Georgia, week after next. And I had the option of going golfing or going fishing for a day. You know what I decided to do? They can all go do that. I'm going to Pop's Knife Supplies and hang out for a few hours.
There you go.
PopsKnifeSupplies.com. Let me tell you what I've been up to. I am so tickled. I got that Jeep Gladiator, and I'm not going to Jeep it. I don't see the value in buying all this aftermarket stuff that everybody just buys and just keeps adding onto the vehicle and destroying their electrical systems and all this other stuff. And people that put people probably write me some hate mail, but if you drive down the road and you look at the winches that are on the fronts of Jeeps, 99% of them, and maybe a little more than that, are on there for show. They've never been used. They're as clean as the day they were. Except, so people are going out spending $1,000 on a bumper and several $100s on a winch just for looks. I'm not that kind of person. If I go off the road, I've got a come along and stuff. I could do that with the hooks that come on the Jeep. I don't need a winch. But I did want a tonneau cover and a bed rug, so my tonneau cover came in today, and I installed that, and that is good. And my friend said, "What are you doing? Turn it into a station wagon?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess." But I got a trailer now that I can pull, and let's see what else. Oh, I ordered a Fordham tool, and I say Fordham, but it's not the actual Fordham tool. I ordered the $80 version on Amazon that is identical looking to the Fordham tool. And I looked up views of it, and by gosh, I can't find any differences. I turned that thing on and started using it today. And
Nice.
I am never going to buy another Dremel in my life. And matter of fact, you can spend $54 up to 80 whatever dollars I spent on this one, and it's basically the same tool. Whether you pay, I think if you pay less, you pay for shipping. I got it through Prime.
Yeah, do share the link, please.
Yeah, I'll send it to you here as we're talking. But it's on Amazon, and I got it, and it works beautifully. I put some carbide tips in there and just took it to some scrap steel, and it's wonderful. And I'll tell you what's wonderful. It wasn't tracking and jumping like my Dremel was. And I killed my Dremel last week, which was about 20, 25 years old, cutting through a piece of steel with a carbide. And when I did at the end, it jumped and ruined the guard I was making. So tomorrow I've got to remake the guard I was making for that buoy I have to finish after about 2 months of looking at it. And so when I was playing with some steel tonight, it was like, dude, this is tracking so well and just going through butter. So I'm not saying Fordham is a bad brand or overpriced. I'm just telling you, there's some darn good products out there that you can get. Vivor is the brand, and I can't tell the difference between it and the Fordham. And I've used a Fordham as well that a buddy has, and it's just wonderful. So don't be afraid to do that. Also, go and do your own research. Go on YouTube and see what other people are doing. Reviews and stuff on that kind of stuff, and then get you some good feedback before you purchase. But I will send that to you, Otisir. Other than that, I talked about my free knife. I'm going to get back on my knife tomorrow. I think Knife Club meets tomorrow, doesn't it, Josh?
Yeah, it does. It meets tomorrow, and we're going to have a historical knife demo. So that'll be pretty neat. And unfortunately, I won't be able to make that one.
Well, I was going to say I'm not going to be able to make it either because I've got to babysit a neighbor's dog tomorrow. So I'll be stuck with that. They have to leave out of town. So Josh Howard will have to let us know how it went. So, hey, where's Eric tonight? I saw he's camping somewhere. And what's he doing, guys? Do y'all know?
I think he's on some kind of a fair or something.
This is a Renaissance Fair weekend?
Oh, he's LARPing.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think actually, he's the knife maker for the fair.
Oh, that is so cool. Well, I did see that he's been. Yeah, they've been advertising he's going to be making knives at the Texas Knife Show coming up.
In November.
November, yeah. Do you go to that, Jason?
I do not, because Texas is freaking huge. So that's really like about 9 hours from here. I do have, I don't know if I can talk about it yet. I do have a super secret thing coming that weekend, maybe. We haven't nailed the date down, but let's just say...
Hey man, nobody listened to the podcast anyways. Go ahead and tell us.
Let's just say that it involves the basement where they stashed Pee Wee Herman's bike. Remember that one?
Yeah, there's a basement there. Yeah, I've been to it.
Yeah, that one, and maybe some historical artifact stuff. So too soon to rejoice and announce, but there's decent odds. Me and Pee Wee Herman are going to hang out that weekend.
Who knows? Pee Wee's dead.
Well, yeah, and he didn't hang out at all the good places anyway. I don't think I'm going to go there. But you know what I'm saying.
I was just going to say it'll have to be the ghost of Pee Wee because Pee Wee's dead. His
ghost is probably nicer than he was.
Well, they had Large Marge was the ghost on Pee Wee's Big Adventure, so maybe he's partying with Large Marge.
Could be. Well, as long as he's not in that basement, that's where I'm going. So.
Otis here, I just sent you the link to the Vivor SR hanging flex shaft grinder tool, 230 watt rotary tool, and I think it goes 25 or 30,000 RPMs. It's a pretty good tool. I like it. So that's all I got to say about that.
Is it variable speed with a foot pedal like a Fordham?
Exactly. Nice. Matter of fact, it's funny.
Cool,
I saw on some reviews a guy had opened one up on YouTube, and he pulled the instructions out, and it was a Fordham instruction manual for a Chinese made. So I assume they have them made over there, but it was a Fordham instruction manual or owner's manual that came with this off-brand tool, Fordham tool. So anyway, you just never know. But the housing and the casings and everything else are 95% Fordham. So I'm not trying to knock Fordham.
You can fit like a regular Dremel bits in there. And
yes, you can fit. And the thing is, because it's a chuck, and a chuck key, you can get. With Dremel, you were limited on the size you could put in. With this one, it's like a drill press. You can put any size in there.
Yeah,
so up to a certain.
That I really,
up to like a quarter, like pretty big.
About the Dremel set, I really just like about the Dremel set is, you can't really over torque the chuck.
That is true. Yeah,
and it starts to jump, and then your bit is sliding in and out. So I mean, it's just.
And that's how I killed mine, using a pair of pliers to torque it down to get those bits to keep it from spinning out. And eventually I just torqued it too much and killed that sucker. So
I'm on my second Dremel, by the way, and those things are not cheap.
No, they're not. But I wonder if I'd sent it back to Dremel and said, "Hey, I used it for 25 years," if they would have used it and sent me another one. Just probably not. Probably not. Probably not. So VMAX,
you get your money's worth out of it. So
more than I probably paid $34 for it in 2020. Actually, when I first bought it, I bought it for my fishing lures. And I had a flex shaft that would attach to it at the time, and it still wasn't all that great. But I used it for carving fishing lures and stuff when I was doing some detail work. VMAX, we have not let you talk yet. And I will tell you, after I ask you, have you been to MaritimeKnifeSupply.com? I know you haven't been up there in a while because we've had too many hurricanes going around, and the roads and the water and all has been hard to get through. But you know what? I know you would go to Maritime Knife Supply to get all of your knife making needs. One stop there just across the border in Canada, knowing that he ships out throughout the United States. VMAX, what have you been up to?
A few things. I've been doing a little more knife work recently. Hey, before I got into me, though, I had a question about what you were talking about. How do you have your motor for your Fordham lookalike mounted? Is it just hung somewhere?
It hangs just like a Fordham tool. It's identical to a Fordham casing and everything. But
no, but yeah. Like, did you buy a hook for it, or you just have it hang by a chain or something? Or
yeah. So
and I'll tell you the reason I ask. The reason I ask is because I have my I have one it might be the same one, and it's hung. But I found out with the torque of the motor, if you don't hang it too rigidly, the whole motor starts spinning, right? And so I found out I have to kind of rig it up to keep the motor a little bit more stationary. So I was just curious of how you had yours set
at this time. I have a long hook that hangs out from a pegboard, and I hooked it on there for what I've done. But I was going to go by Lowe's tomorrow and get a thin piece of rebar, quarter-inch rebar, the smaller sizes they make. And I was going to heat it up and make a hook that way because I wasn't going to pay what they wanted for a hook on Amazon even. So not when you can just make one real quick. Are you saying I may have some?
No, so that would. No, I think that's a great idea, right? So my recommendation for anybody who's going to get one after listening to this podcast and they're like, "Wow, Chip has one, I have to have one too." Is to you make sure you don't think about just hanging it by a string or a chain or something, right? Because if you do that, the motor's just going to start spinning, and it's going to be a mess, right? And so, I still have it by a chain, but I was able to 3-point it, with from 3 different, keeps it a little bit more sturdy. But I still am thinking about getting something more rigid. And I think that'd be a little bit better.
I'll tell you, I have a quarter-inch hole in my table that I made a hanger for my a wire hanger that would hold my airbrush in between using it. And so what I would do is whenever I'd get out my airbrush, I'd just slide that holder in there, and it's just a little thing with hooks on it that I could just cradle it in the airbrush itself. And I still got all that. And I thought, well, heck, I'll just do this. And then it's not drilled all the way through, so it goes down about almost 2 inches in a 3-inch deep table. I can just slide that down in there on that piece of rebar with a nice hook on it, and I don't have to go out and buy it.
That's a great idea.
You know us knife makers, we get crafty.
Yep. That's right.
Are your kids the right age where you would catch the reference of, oh, where is my airbrush? Oh, where is my airbrush?
The world are you talking about? Is this like Blues Clues or something?
A great VeggieTales song where the bald cucumber is singing about where is his hairbrush. Y'all are gonna miss. Yeah, sorry for y'all. Sorry,
no.
I'm
with you.
Childhoods were boring, and
I'm with you on that one.
Lives were terrible.
Yeah, our kids watch that, but actually, you know what? I'll have to show you guys some pictures of some of my work sometime. The detail work where I was using screens and stuff and painting in scales and very realistic airbrushed fishing lures. It's kind of one of those things when you learn it, it's pretty easy to do. Kind of like making a Coke bottle handle with a nice curved out butt on the end and all that, like Odysseer makes. When you actually learn how to do that, you learn just to mark them off real quick and go in and sand them, and boom, they're easy. So painting lures like that was kind of easy. So, but I always knew where my airbrush was because I had that hook I installed in my table, that little cradle that I could set it in. So I didn't have to sing that song, Jason. I didn't have to sing.
Too bad. You missed out.
I did, but I did get in on Teletubbies with my kids, just so you know. So
I was fortunate that those were not my kids' era.
Ooh.
I missed the Teletubbies.
Good for you, because we kept looking for Tubby Custard for many weeks, Tubby Custard. And Pokemon, dude, I've probably got $50,000 worth of Pokemon cards and stuff in a closet 3 feet from me right now. I need to go through there sometime and just see what they're worth. Maybe I can retire today.
You never know.
VMAX, we digressed, VMAX. Come back to us. Come back. What have you been doing?
Yeah, so I have to, I'll announce that, I won't give the details, but it didn't work out between me and the city of Mobile, so I have left that position.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Next parade, the Knives Templars are going down there, and we're going to stop and get a bag of trash each from the McDonald's as we're coming in, or whatever fast food coming into town, and we're going to a parade and we're going to throw trash.
No, it's all good.
No,
So no, it's past week I've gotten a lot of stuff done. It's really great taking a break. I was putting in some long hours and gotten a lot of stuff done around the house, and really the nice thing is I've been in the shop a lot, and so got to pick up that hidden tang and make a lot more progress on that. Just in the last week.
Now, are you retired military, drawing a pension yet?
I am.
Good. So,
which is why it's not a huge deal. I mean, I have 33 years Air Force, right? And
Thank you for that service.
I'm getting my I appreciate it. And so getting my full retirement there, I think 30 years is 75%. So maybe 80, I forget what it works out to be. So that's a great, piece there. And then, of course I don't know if everybody on here knows, but, I have, had some problems with my shoulder, my back, and, again, things that happen for deployments and over the years. So I have a disability rating. So I get a little bit, from that. And so I made sure when I moved out here that we, we bought a house that I can live on based on that income. So, realistically, I do not have to work. I think it's hard for me who has gone, 100 miles an hour for my entire adult life to, slow down too much. And so, I'm gonna give it a break a little bit, get a lot of stuff done around the house, and then I'm gonna see what else is out there in the local area, so that at least I could finish up in the area while my son's finishing college down
May
here.
I ask-
So.
may I ask-
Going 100 miles an hour to knife making.
Mark, let me
That's right.
ask how old you are.
I am 54.
Well, bless your heart to be in the position that you are with your retirement with the military, and you're on military insurance already.
Well, so yes and no. So I have TRICARE, which is great.
Gotcha.
The retirement version, which I didn't realize how good it is for the premium a year for that until I found out how much other really good insurance costs. And so really I pay a year what a lot of good insurances are paying a month.
Oh, okay.
And so that's great there. And then on top of that, I found the VA down here, which I can use because of my rating, and and it's probably one of the most amazing VAs I've been to. So they do pretty new by comparison, and really I thought Texas VAs I've been out there for most of my career in Texas, but I'll tell you, this really gave the ones in Texas a run for their money. So really good place down here. And so I'm starting to use that.
You could move to North Alabama and buy the house next to me because we could be really good friends. But since you probably won't do that because you don't want to live next to me, I have an anvil. You can have, and I still have an anvil that's yours. You just got to come get it. But may I ask, what did you do in the military? What was your job?
So I started off as so I came in as an aircraft mechanic, and so I was a crew chief on bombers. Started off on B-52 bombers, and worked a bunch of different heavy bombers, B-52s, B-1s, and then got commissioned. Went to college. After work, got all that done, and then got my commission, and then spent the remainder of my career as a maintenance officer. Basically managing maintenance, and then of course, you get to do so many amazing other side jobs with So I taught up at Maxwell for a couple of years. I taught that master's program up there, and then I did a whole bunch of deployments. I got to go all over the world. I mean, again, I have never have one bad thing ever to say about my career. I was so blessed to have gotten the opportunity to serve for so long, and have so many good.
Well,
times.
you still have so much more to offer, and I can't wait till you tell us what your next adventure is, because you are 100-mile-an-hour kind of guy. I will say it's a damn shame that you don't live closer to Laurel, Mississippi, because we have corporate jets over there, Gulfstream. What are they, 500s or 280s or something like that? Anyway, they're nice jets, and we've got people, the maintenance managers that help maintain that fleet. And that's probably like, well, I don't do that anymore. So, but whatever you choose to do, you just let this group here. You've got a bunch of people that can provide you personal references to say you are the best. You are the best. So I'm looking forward to a future episode where you say, my wife's just had me painting and doing a little too much around the house. I'm going back into the real world for a little bit longer. So I would say if I lost my job today, I would be floored. But I do have a lot of faith in God. And I do know that anybody that loses their job, you can lose everything in your life. I could lose everything around me, but you can't take God away from me. And you can't take my faith away from me. You can't take the love that I have for my family, my community away. And I've also found out that with our faith, that within 30, 60, 90 days, God's put us where we're really supposed to be. And I'm not saying he put you on a mission. He just put you in a place that makes you a little bit happier. So we know you're going to get there. We'll keep praying for you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about these damn knives. Tell us about these damn knives you've been making, because I've seen some really cool things you've been doing there. I saw one of the nicest fit ups to a guard. I am so jealous. I hope that I can get there this weekend. Looking at you, the way you fit that up, I may drive down and just let you do the final fit for my knife. What a nice job.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate it. And so, I'll tell you, I was really up in the air, on that, because I was having a rough time. It was really close. I couldn't, I think when I did the sides to the shoulders there that I just didn't get them as level, because I think the corners of my files were just not sharp enough to really get them at that same perfectly flat level as the top and the bottoms of the shoulders. So I just went back to tapping it and again I asked the group of I know I tried once before to lesson learn to hot fit a brass guard, and made that great discovery that you should not put it in your forge and try to make it cherry red, because it goes from black to melted in about like 3 seconds, at a certain point. I know. So, but what I ended up doing really was just, I smacked it, I wrapped it a little bit tighter with some more, towel and electrical tape and some leather. And I whacked it a little bit harder with my, little flattened pipe tool that I put over, and, was able to, because I wasn't whacking it quite as hard. I guess maybe that's not the right term, but I was
whacking it harder always helps.
I know, and so I was I went down the wrong road on that, but so I hit it a little bit harder, and then I was starting to get some marks on there a little bit more than what I had, and so again I just kind of kept going with the little jeweler's files and bringing it out a little bit further. I so wanted to grab that Fordham tool, and I have a carbide bit, and start kind of scratching out the little outline of that, but I have never used it on it before. And I felt like, that's the wrong time to practice when I was at that portion. And so I just went with the jeweler's fires and kept, slowly taking away where it would mark and taking away where it marked. And eventually I got to where I got the square corners on there and took that away. And then it leveled it out. So, and then I also learned though, that you really have to make sure you're pretty close to finished sanding on that surface, because then once you sand a little bit further, then you have to go and take a little more off, because that's right. You have to refit a little bit more. So, trying to judge the right time to do that, but got that done. And then right now I'm working on the choil of it, right? The choil of your guard. And I do need to go and ask a question. I remember, Chip, when you were doing one, or maybe somebody else was talking about it, you talked about setting up like a jig on your small wheel attachment where you can, just kind of like feed it in there or something like that, and try to get that instead of hand grinding that choil.
I've done that before. Use the small wheel attachment in the work rest, and you set it up where you're cutting that radius underneath the back of the guard. That way works pretty well.
Mark, if you give me a call, I'll go out and set up my Mara braids that you're using the same machine and show you exactly how I do it. But what I do is I put the small wheel attachment on, and then I on the back of the guard, I go ahead and mark the circumference or all of the edges of where it is. And then I bring my table up to about 1/8 or 3/16 of an inch from where it's going to fit in. And then I add a 1/8 inch piece of 1095 that I've got that I just clamp onto my table, because I can push that all the way up within
all the way up to the edge,
all the way up to the edge of the small wheel. Because when you have that little gap that hangs over, it wants to rock. At some point, it will rock. Because your finger will go left or right. So I put that piece of 1095 knife bar stock is what it is. I never used it. And I slide it up against there. I'm probably a little more than a 16th off of the edge. And when I go up there, and I have to clamp it down so it's solid and it doesn't rock. And then I just kind of rock it back and forth, and you get this beautiful spread out feathered pattern from that. But then, and then you can slow that grinder down and just slowly dial it in, rocking it out. I mark both sides where the grind should stop on both sides where it comes around, and just slowly move it back and forth as I'm getting closer to the finished edge. And it comes out beautiful. Matter of fact, with the buoy I'm making, I'm going to do a top and a bottom similar. I'm going to do a longer one down where the finger choil is, the guard, and then up top I'm going to come up about a third as high with the same pattern up there, just so it's a little taller on that side. But so I have to set it up anyway. If you get in touch with me, I'll take some pictures of exactly what I'm doing or send you a video and how I do it. So,
yeah.
And I'm not an expert. That's just how I found out how to do it.
No. I remember from a little ways back that I saw that one, and I remember you talking about that.
Oh, that's right.
I was trying to set up, something similar, and I did it with like a 3-2-1 block. But I have to, it'd be good to see how you had yours set up, and then really my second question for the group on the guard, which hopefully this is helpful to other folks that are working on guards right now, is do you alignment pins or no alignment pins? What's your thoughts and
I think that
preferences?
I think that depends on whether you're going to be backing it up with additional pieces. So like when Jason is doing his he used the coins to do the fluted or the cut in angles around.
Yeah, so
get all those pieces to line up properly. It's good to put alignment pins. If you're just going to put a wooden handle right up next to the guard, you don't have to put an alignment pin. Just seat your handle, hot seat it. Heat up your tang and press it in. Put your knife in a vise, heat up the tang and push the handle onto it, or do an epoxy set where you let the epoxy dry just enough that you can still pull it off with some grease on it. I don't like that particular method. I just don't want any grease in there where I've got sealants and adhesives. So I just heat set it in there with a red tang and push it on that way.
Clean it out with alcohol.
Then you don't need any alignment. What's that?
Just clean it out with alcohol.
What about the alcohol?
I mean, these locator pins.
Oh, you're talking about if you use epoxy, clean it out. I mean, with a grease or something, clean it out with alcohol.
That's what I do.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Good deal.
Yeah, I mean, with the locator pins, I only used it maybe 2 or 3 times when I have a guard on a buoy, that I have a flat guard, like an oval shaped guard, and then I have a spacer in between the guard.
That's right. That's what I'm doing.
Handle material. I will have 2 locator pins on the sides of my spacer into the handle material. Okay. And then I can shape the handle and the spacer at the same time. And then every time you fit it back into the knife itself, it is always
it makes sense.
Spot.
Yeah, and I think
right. If you do multiple pieces, the pins come in real handy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's my plan. Is that I have some layers of brass and black G10. And so, I have like my brass spacer, and then a thin layer of black G10, and then a brass sheet, and then I have my black chunk of handle material, and then I just do that opposite, and I have the brass and the black again, and then the rest of my handle. So I did that last time, and it came out real nice. So
you have a guard, and then there's sandwiches of different materials and your handle material. Okay, so if I was working on it, I'm looking for my perspective here. I'll have the guard set the way you want it perfectly, and then I will have a locator pin going through your spacer material, the sandwiches there, into your handle material, and then you can shape everything and slide it in and out as you need it.
Okay.
A little 1/8 piece of, steel should do.
Yeah, I was thinking about just using I have some brad nails, that I was going to cut the ends off, and
yeah, you need 2. One will still twist.
That's right.
But yeah, I use 1/16 pin stock usually. Those little bitty nails or something will work for that if you got the right size drill bit.
You can also use angel hair spaghetti, but just don't get it wet before you put it in there. So
no, it's good. Actually. So
1/16 inch angel hair. You can also use Thai rice noodles, but that requires slots instead of circles. But anyway, just so you know.
Yeah.
Odysseer.
So no, some good stuff.
It is. Odysseer, I would like to let you know that if you were looking for some of the best knife handle material out there, some of the most creative, I would want you to hit up Emily over at Emily's Casting Crafts, and you can find her at castingcrafts.com. She's putting out some beautiful handles, and she's very well known in the industry. So if you want something special, Odysseer, go out and hit castingcrafts.com. Odysseer, you've been working on some really cool schnitzel here lately. I've seen the most beautiful. You're becoming the I don't know, you're going to start giving those guys a run for their money with regard to the steel you've been making.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
It's pretty stuff.
Yeah, I've been
King Damascus.
Not there yet. Eventually, though, I've been working on my
Princess Damascus. Princess
yeah,
Damascus.
Actually, I've been working on a darkening solution for my darker Damascus. Different layers. You have the light and the dark in there, and all of the different layers. I ran into some issues with coffee. It doesn't stain everything evenly, and you have some darkening on the 15 and 20 that I really don't like, and I have to be polishing that out afterwards.
Right.
And when you try to buff it, coffee usually comes out real quick. It doesn't stay there very long, and it's not an overall durable finish for your Damascus. A lot of people only do like a ferric on the Damascus, and it comes out gray and it's fine, nothing wrong with it. But I like the look of the Damascus that my teacher makes, which is a really high contrast between the silver and the black sections there. And that is what I've been able to achieve on this one right here. I know that the listeners can't see it, but you guys can.
Was that like a raindrop, or did you use drill on that, or is it
a whole lot of little holes in there, and then I pressed it down to 1/8.
Nice.
That's pretty.
Right. So as soon as I have my process worked out, I'll be sharing it with you guys how to get this particular finish on there, because I really think it's super pretty and more durable than just ferric and or coffee, right? So
you're going to be calling it like Pinto sauce version 2 now?
No. This is actually a well-known process down in Brazil, right? I haven't seen a whole lot of people do it here. Most knife makers here will only go into the ferric, do a couple of cycles, comes out, and it's dark, and you have the grays and the darks in there, right? I really want like a silver and black in there, something that you would get if you coffee it. The thing is, with the coffee, it's like, I don't know if there's something wrong with the water that I'm using. I coffee darken a few blades where the entire blade comes out black. There is no 15 and 20 visible. Everything is black, right? So I have to polish that out. Some will have some kind of copper-ish look to
like a brown film. Yeah, I've had that before.
To the thing, and I had a few where the coffee came out perfect. 15 and 20 silver, the 1095 80 Chevy tube, super black. I was really happy with those, but it doesn't happen on a consistent basis. So my chase right now is on getting, this finish constantly, every time getting the same look, right? And,
that looks good.
The second one I made, that I use this finish, and really, really, really happy with it, man. It's just it makes me happy when a plan comes together.
Yeah, consistency is key, right? Like you don't ever want to. You want to have a process down that you're not going to have to worry about if it's going to be right or wrong. Once you get to that portion where you're etching your knife, I mean, that's the last thing. You don't want to mess it up. One of the last things of your metal.
So the only thing I'm working out right now is how deep my edge has to be on my 1095, because for this process to work, I have to have my highs and my lows have to be a really high contrast, right? So when you rub your fingers in there, you got to be able to feel the ridges deep and the highs really high. So when you feel that in and you clean the highs, everything comes out smooth, and you have a really high contrast in there. So that's what I've been working on. It's been taking.
Nice.
I've been working on this knife now for going on about a week and a half, going on 2. A few hours at a time. I hope to get this finished up on Sunday, so I can take it to the Moran show coming up on the 19th. So next Saturday, Moran show, and I'll be there.
Yeah.
Showing this one off. It's gonna be my centerpiece.
That'll be a fun show.
So I really hope to get that thing really worked out by then.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, slaying some deer, doing some regular work, fading some cars, ripping up some coil springs,
So
I worked out a little quaking,
So, Josh, I know you got to get off here soon. You're running out of time. What are you doing tonight? Where I'm going to be nosy. Where are you going?
So yesterday was my wife's birthday, and then tomorrow we've got some stuff that need to do, and then I leave Sunday for a trade show. So we're gonna spend the night and have a nice dinner and watch a movie or something like that, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. Just gonna have spend the evening with the wife time, and in celebration.
Well, that's all you have to say. You can stop right there. We want it to stay PG, but
we don't need no details,
Yeah,
TMI, my friend.
Yeah. So,
but it sounds like the right thing to do. Right thing to do.
Yeah, and VMAX, you were talking about working that bronze real quick before I head out. If you're afraid of putting bronze in the forge, if you want to get it malleable, color it with a Sharpie, put it in the forge until the Sharpie's gone, and then pop it in water right afterwards. And that's the trick to anneal it. Like if it's like super thick, you wait till the Sharpie's gone and give it a minute. But not too long of a minute. But yeah, you pull it out, drop it in water. It's annealed at that point, and then you can work it soft.
Yeah, no, and that was, I did see that online and was looking for some options like that, but wasn't sure if I wanted it annealed, right? Like I think having it hard so you don't get a whole bunch of, I guess scratches and dents in it, was probably better. So, and I wasn't sure how to ever reharden it. So yeah. So, but no, I appreciate that. That was one of the options I was looking at, but luckily I didn't have to do that because it worked out with the files. So
the same.
Yes, I know.
It looks great.
Hey,
yeah, no, that's great. Appreciate
Josh,
it.
Josh, couple things when you get off the podcast here in a second or so, do us a couple things. Have a good evening. I'm not sure which room you're in your house, so make sure that you totally log out and turn off the video and the audio. Since y'all are celebrating. And, oh wait, no, it's her birthday, not yours. That's fine. So, happy birthday to your wife, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, especially as the weather's cooling down. So
sounds good.
Make sure you're uploaded to 100%. Make sure you're uploaded to 100%, or I'll come looking for you tomorrow.
Sounds like a plan. Y'all have a good one and enjoy the rest of the podcast.
And everybody says bye.
See ya.
Thanks, Josh.
Bye. Well, bye.
See you, buddy. See you, buddy. Well, that leads me to, guys, I think we was talking about Mare braid grinders before, and while there's many, many, many grinders out there, I'm going to tell you Mare braid's one of my favorite. You can find them at marebraid.com. They got 3 packages. You can get grinding, but I say go full bore and buy the whole package. Make sure you get a variable speed drive if you go with the Mare braid. But Kevin and Eric produce some of the best grinders out there. So marebraid.com. Man, I'm feeling like we've got to do this real quick, because when we get right back, we're going to go into a pre-recorded version of 163,000 knife making tips with Hey, Jason, walk us through a knife tip. Let's talk about knives.
So listening to Mark talk about his guard stuff. This tip is not in my book. It was something I learned after I wrote the book, honestly. I went to, after having my own struggles with guards, I went to a weekend class with Brian Tomberlin in Oklahoma to learn how to fix all these problems I was having, right? And he taught me a bunch of things, but the tip I wanted to pass on has to do with the files themselves. Brian was a big proponent of a quality file that was only used for that process, right? So you can do all kinds of crazy stuff on the grinder, and you can do all your cheap files from wherever, but for those last half a dozen strokes, to get the corners, he recommended a brand new, high quality file. He was a fan of the Friedrich Dick files. And so there were many good jokes about Dick filing, of course, Dick files and things. But Friedrich Dick is a brand that he recommended. They are available at places like Rio Grande, Jewelry Supply. And they don't last forever. Like I said, they're not the one you want to file with a bunch. They're the one you want to use that last 5 strokes. And it fixes exactly that problem you were talking about, Mark, because they come sharp, they come square. They are a little bit harder, a little bit more precise than your big box store stuff. So that would be the tip for today is get yourself a high quality Dick, Faird, Grobet. I mean, it doesn't matter exactly which kind, but a not big box store file for that last little bit. And just the difference in that equipment's precision will fix that guard fit problem a good chunk of the time.
Nice.
Well, I will tell.
Yeah, I think it was. I think there is a second piece that I think it was still a little hard. I don't think I got, so I softened the tang up after heat treat. Right. And, I was a little bit scared of getting the heat into the edge, and I had it submerged in water, and I couldn't quite get, I didn't quite get probably it as hot as I needed to get it, on that area.
Wanted it to.
Yeah, and so because I was just kind of holding it in the water, and the water was sucking the heat out of that little area as it got close, and so I think part of the challenge, I had a new Nicholson file, but not super high end file on that, but I couldn't get the long side was really tough, right? Because there was just
for sure,
it's just so much more on that, but no, I'll look those files up. I definitely, get it to like almost that final portion with a really good file, and then have that good file and just kind of.
It's good for 10 knives, maybe 6, maybe 5.
Yeah,
you leave it in the drawer for everything
that's it.
Except that one little task.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go out and get
and then
one.
after they booger up, you can use them for like regular files. But
Yeah.
I've been writing that down because that's my big thing is trying to get that darn cut in that perfect 90-degree edge right there.
Let me share you my trick.
Otis got a plan.
So listeners won't see this, but let me show a quick drawing that I just made. So this is a cross-section cut of my file, right? So top, bottom, and I chamfered the sides where one of the sides is, longer than you know what I'm talking about. So this little corners will cut that final.
So you're cutting like a 60. You're grinding your files down to about a 60-degree angle on the edges, so it will cut in with a sharp cutting edge on the side.
Cutting at that sharp corner. Yeah,
and you're only going to use those two little corners right there, right?
Yeah,
and that is going to fit exactly on that last portion of that shoulder, right? The next thing
don't tell that to Kyle Daly, or he'll be turning out the file buddies.
Right. The other thing I've been doing now,
Kyle, just joking.
Of lately, I have only been making two shoulders, top and bottom. I stopped making the shoulders on the sides for the moment.
Yeah.
Right. So it's easier to fit like this way.
That's right.
And if you have a little bit of a looser fit on the sides, you can lay that in your anvil and
boop it. Yep.
Pop, right there, and it's a flush fit on the sides. So
nice.
So
hey, let me ask what you're. So I had this crazy idea. I didn't.
I said,
I do it cold.
What's that?
Okay.
Cold.
Oh.
Use a light hammer. You really don't want to, mill near that thing into your anvil. You want to go and have lighter taps. Pop real quick, and that thing will move slightly and slowly. So, and then you can look at and see how much is, it's moved. So don't really, don't take your forging hammer to the thing. Use a lighter ball peen or something for that.
Gotcha. Good idea.
So I had this crazy idea, and it's probably really dumb, and so I didn't do it. But let me tell you what I was thinking.
Are bored, man. Go for it.
That's right. So would it be the worst idea if you had a file, had your file guide on there, right? And then you brought the side of your knife lightly up to your bandsaw blade, lining it up with the file guide, just to kind of like, kind of take a hair off that, and then just start the edge there, and then finish it off with the file. Would that? Is that even?
I mean,
I've done it on the grinder before.
That, being a Brazilian redneck, I would say go for it and try and let us know.
There you go.
But I don't think that a bench saw would be able to make like a perfect cut.
Right, it's not that precise.
Uneven on
it's
the
not
sides,
that precise.
So you still have to go back with the file and
clean it up.
I have used the file guide and the grinder and a new belt in the corner of my platen, like the sharp edge, to try to cut those side reliefs prior to filing.
Yeah. I do the same thing.
That does work.
I do the same thing. It helps, right?
You gotta not get too close to your file guide, because that belt will dig in a little differently than the file.
That's right.
Well, carbide.
That's right.
Carbide.
I do. But even then, the belt is thin enough and flexible enough. You can't
that it could sneak in there.
I don't know how the heck it does it, but trust me, it does. But yeah, if you take it within 10,000ths or something, it does cut the filing time down a little bit.
Yeah, oh yeah, a lot. Really, I mean, that's the same thing that I do to cut my plank lines. I'll have my carbide. I have 3 file guides. 2 of them has carbide in them. 1 doesn't, and each one of them has specific purposes. The one that I do take to my belt, clamp it in there, bring it to the belt, and it's never perfect, and I will finish that with the file anyways afterwards. But it's just cutting back on your filing time there, like Jason said. It works really nice, but need to be careful. Now with the bench saw thing, man, do try and let us know. I mean, right now I'm genuinely curious about it. Come on, yeah, your mic's off.
I have a couple of knives in the I'm not skilled enough to finish bin because I messed them up early. So sometime I may pick them up. Those maybe I'll take one of those and give it a shot and see how that works. That's probably the best one to do it on, not the current knife that you're trying to finish off.
Fair point. Yeah, take one out of the junk drawer and maybe you win, maybe you get it back. But if you screw it up, it was screwed up to begin with. Yeah, I like that idea.
Hey, Otis here. I've got a 25-ton press that I got such a great deal. You guys need to go out to ClarkIronForge.com.
Look at his a 16.
Well, I'm talking about
Clark, 25, right?
I'm going to Clark Iron Forge right now. You can get a 16, you can get a 25 or a 40-ton press at great prices. I wonder if I use that 25-ton press to press that in there. I'd probably ruin my day. But I tell you what, if you want to move some hot steel, go visit ClarkIronForge.com. That's all.
Oh.
And then Oyster, what's yours? Where's yours from?
Coal iron.
Well, you have a different one, right? Oh, coal. That's right.
Yeah. It's been working great, man. Nothing wrong with it. It's, that was the choice I had for the amount of space that it was going to take in my shop and my power supply. Right, I'm only have.
No, I think that's great.
110, 220 is not really doable in my shop unless I went out and bought me a generator to be running it when I'm running the press. Right, so it's just a little extra thing. So stuck with the 12-tonner. It's working great. Once you learn how to use it, man, that thing really moves steels and quick. Right, so. Super happy with it. Couldn't be better. I mean, it could be better had I been able to buy me a 50-tonner from Coal Iron Works or a different brand or whatever, just because of the amount of pressure that thing puts in there. But that 12-tonner, man, is working great. Now, one thing I'm going to want to share with everybody, if you have a press and you're trying to get your forge weld set with the press, do yourself a big favor. As your billet is heating up, get yourself some pieces of sacrificial steel, put it in the forge, and before your billet is ready, put the sacrificial pieces of steel on your dies, clamp it down, let those dies sink in that heat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, when you put your billet in there, believe it or not, that microsecond that is there and your dies are cold is sucking up heat out of your billet, and it can damage your initial forge weld, at least on the two outer layers. So I had that happen to me a couple of times. I had to grind off my two outer layers, right? Because it didn't forge weld. It was just like, the heat came out of there so fast. And especially now with the temperatures going down, is something to be mindful of, right? So a piece of coil spring or a piece of leaf spring, bring that thing to bright yellow, clamp it in the press and just let it soak that heat, man. That's going to help a lot.
It's a great idea.
Anyway,
my hydraulic press is still completely stalled. So I still have that one lady. I keep talking about her because she's dragging me out forever. I still have that one lady that hadn't paid a chunk of change. That's my hydraulic press money.
Oh.
One of these days. I actually saw one come up on Facebook Marketplace. Very affordable. Still more than I had, but I mean it was
that's surprising.
It was under $4,000 for a 25-ton press.
Oh.
It was tempting. If I'd have had it, I'd have just bought it instead of building one. I mean, it was nice. Speaking of Facebook Marketplace, I had another friend if you're a knife maker, listen to this podcast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So everybody that knows you're a knife maker sends you stuff, asks you questions like, what about this? What about this? Or the other classic questions, do you need some leaf springs? I have these, but the answer is always no. But this guy, my friend, he sent me a Facebook Marketplace ad of a 175-pound hay button anvil for $400. And I said, if you don't buy that immediately, you're dumb. And if you don't buy it and flip it, you should totally buy it and flip it. I mean, you can buy 3 anvils for the price of what you're going to get for that. And he said he didn't have a way to pick it up. I was like, man, you don't know any kids from church or neighbors? Or I said, man, go get it, because that's a screaming deal. And I don't think he did. I think some.
What state is this in?
This was in Texas, in Dallas area. So I think some random person, probably another one of my knife making friends that knew better than to talk about it. But somebody got a smoking deal on a big 175 hay button.
Shoot, I would have, for that much, it would have been paid for me to drive out there and pick it up and come back, and I'd still save money.
It crossed my mind to tell him, well, give me the guy's name and I'll Venmo him, and we'll figure out pickup later. I mean, that was, I would say, again, I'm not an expert on anvil pricing, but I would say that was easily half or maybe a third of what that anvil's worth. Those big heavy ones go for more. The hay buttons go for more. It wasn't ragged out. I mean, it was very, very, very nice.
Nice. Surface was good and everything. It was, I've seen some anvils that, I look on Facebook Marketplace and they have just been, somebody tries to sell them. Yeah. And they're really bad shape. Like, hopefully it's hard all the way through, because you'd have to take like an inch off the top to make it even usable.
Yeah, like a 100-pound Vulcan with a completely round top for like $600. Yeah, that's the typical Facebook Marketplace stuff.
That's right.
I was unfortunately way down in South Texas and didn't have a chance even to make a play at it, because I have a son in Fort Worth. I mean, I could have sent somebody, but it just wasn't my time. So I know we make fun of the market being what it is on anvils and stuff, but keep an eye out. You just never know. There's always somebody.
I have a feeling that if Forged in Fire does not come back for additional seasons, that we're going to see some drift away from knife making, and people become disenfranchised, and you'll see the people that are really stuck to the craft. And we'll probably see some great prices and stuff come in then, some of those types of items. Unfortunately, if people quit buying the supplies and stuff, it might stifle some of the innovation that we see in a lot of the tools and things that we use. But prices...
Yeah, I've already started to see some of that chatter. I know, again, it's limited Facebook stuff, but I guess there's a theory that I don't subscribe to, that we've passed the peak, that the boom is over, and now that the show's off, the market's going to fall apart. I don't think that's entirely true.
I don't think it will. I think the excitement, it's kind of like, you fish for bass, don't you, Jason?
Oh yeah, used to, especially.
So I used to own a fishing lure company, and the thing is, when ESPN took over Bassmaster from Ray Scott and all those boys, and tried to make it into NASCAR, it took over, and everybody was buying boats. Everybody was wanting to fish. They were Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's were popping up everywhere. Bass boats are $100,000. That's just crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, given the fact that I paid $27,000 for a loaded 2-year-old Ranger back in 2007, so it was a 2005 Ranger, 21 foot.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was had a 250 on it. It was a nice boat. But the thing is that when ESPN cast that to the side and quit doing the Saturday morning shows and all that, Ray Scott and the boys bought that back, moved it back to Birmingham, and all of their plans for the Bassmasters museum and Hall of Fame they were going to put just north of Birmingham fell apart. Cabela's went out of business. Bass Pro Shops is still out there, but not sponsoring like they would. And that whole industry is kind of stagnated a little bit. And I guess that's where I'm coming from, is that there's a certain amount of people you're going to keep into the feeding frenzy of knife making, that when that dies off, the beauty or the enamored or the excitement of it is going to basically dissipate to the point we're going to get some fire sales on some really good equipment for people that just, hey, now I'm going to go make pottery, or we're just going to, like I said, I think we'll see some innovation drop off. But I don't think, Blade Show has been around. People have been, Bill Moran and all that whole thing has been around forever. It's not going to go away. And I think it's risen to a level that it won't go back down prior to the excitement the TV show brought to it. But I think we're going to see a tempering of the heat, of the hardness, so to speak, of what knife making is.
So I hope. I mean, I can argue two plausible theories. One, you could argue that as knife making demand goes down, then maybe also knife buying demand goes down. Like, is it knives altogether that's going out of fashion a little bit? Mm-hmm. Or you could argue the opposite, that as the number of makers goes down, even if the demand goes down, the actual availability of high quality custom knives tightens, right? So there's less makers, so supply gets tighter and demand goes up. I mean, it's going to be a little of both, probably. But
your good makers are going to still be around. Your mediocre and makers that don't have quite the skill set where they should be, I think, are going to get tired of it and move on to, like I said, making pottery or fixing up a sports car or something exciting down the road. I mean, it's okay to do that, but I just believe that I think what we'll see is you're going to see the cream of the crop, and I'm not talking about everybody. It's Kyle Royer or anybody else out there, even all the well-known makers. I think you're going to see some really good makers as well as some exceptional makers. The supply will go down on handmade knives, and they'll really be treasured. I will go through Facebook and see knives made every day of the week, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but a lot of these knives shouldn't be being sold. They should be sold as hobbies, and I want to sell it to a friend or this, that, and the other. But to call yourself a forge, or to promote yourself in such a fashion that your quality doesn't live up to that, I'm just calling it what it is. I mean, I'm just being honest. Some knives shouldn't be out there.
Well,
we all start somewhere, but you got to continue to progress.
That is true. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong. Keep making your knives and keep giving them away. And if somebody will give you $100 for a knife, sell it. It just is what it is. I'm sorry. That might have been negative. It might have been negative, but hey, we're here to deliver facts, not misinformation.
To each his own. A lot of people look at the knife making thing as a money making business, and for a lot of people, it is, right. You have the Kyle Royers there that are selling a sword for $60,000, a dagger for $40,000, or things like this. But the average Joe, man, especially from where I'm coming from, I'm looking at this more like a hobby. And for me to stop the whole knife making thing is going to have to be, I found a new, more rewarding hobby than pounding steel, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything yet that caught my attention more than this. And I've been around. I've been fishing, I still do my hunting. I did photography. I did a whole bunch of stuff, right? But, I got stuck on this knife making thing. And, whether the market goes up or down, it really doesn't matter to me as much
Mm-hmm.
as me being a hobbyist, or I'm in it to create what I consider for myself art. And somebody likes it, they will buy it, and if they don't, I mean, my collection grows. So
Yeah, and if you make really nice shivs and somebody buys it, that's nice too. I'm not against that.
right. So
Hey, listen, my mission was to find a way to bless people's lives that needed to know blessings, that I saw them blessing other people, that blessed me in some way or fashion. They were just helping the world. I haven't sold a knife in 2 years, and I've become a better knife maker in the process. I'm not a great knife maker. I'm not a $60,000. I'm not a Jason Fry knife maker, but I can make a decent knife, and I'm still not selling them because it's a hobby. It's guys like us. Anybody on this call right now that denies this, you're telling me a fib. You make knives because it's a way for you to express your creative side, to stave off the everyday hustle bustle of life, to push depression aside, to push anxiety aside, to push the daily trolls of life that jump on you every day. This is your escape, just as if you were a potter. I mentioned pottery a couple times, but if you were a potter or a guy that builds sports cars, hot rods or paints or whatever, this is that thing in life for us people that have the creative minds that seems like all of us creative people go down that other road. I'm not saying we're all depressed or have anxiety. I'm just saying that it's good mental health to let us express ourselves and who we are. Like I said, that's why I haven't sold a knife in 2 years, because I see a need to bless other people's lives. I will sell some knives, but I'm just, maybe that's my hobby, my side gig when I'm retired. Maybe before then. It's not going to be 6 years before I start selling knives again, but I'm focusing on stewardship, fellowship, and becoming a better maker so that I can charge a decent number for my knives.
Yeah,
look,
I was making knives.
If you want to jump into the whole knife thing and you look at it as a business, you gotta go and talk to people who've been doing this, way longer than I have. Jason here, for example, he's been on this for quite a bit.
16 years or so.
I haven't, taken the time to give him a call yet and ask him how to start a business and actually start selling anything, because that's not what I'm in for. Not yet, right? As you all know, Mr. Chip here every now and then tells me, "Yo, man, when you're ready to get your website done, let me know and I'll help you out." And I still haven't gotten to that point when I said, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go get me a website." I'm just progressing as a maker as I am right now, and the way I look at it, I want to reach something that I know it's impossible, that is called perfection, but that's what I'm looking for. Am I going to get there someday? Probably not. But the road to get there, that's the important thing for me. Like right now, I'm working on this finishing process on my Damascus ware. My 15 and 20 is silver, and my 1095 is black. That won't rub off with time, right? So that's where I am right now. And just an FYI, I only started making Damascus back in January by hammer and anvil, right? Even without a press.
It was old school, baby.
That's right.
I think I progressed a lot personally from when I
You
started.
have a short learning curve, Otis, here. I've always noticed that about you.
So, that's what I told Mark. I'm a Brazilian redneck. I have no cannot do attitude. I mean, I will try, I will fail, but at least I tried, right? So, and I will learn with each failure. I will learn. So for you out there, go for it.
Let me say this.
Don't think about it.
Don't let me insult anybody that's out there making knives and you compare your knives and go, what's he saying about mine? That's not my point. I'm not saying quit making knives. I'm saying that, I'm making knives right now. I hope to get into the guild. I don't know if I'll ever be able to make knives to get into the ABS. Damn, those are some.
I've seen your stuff.
Well, and I may,
You're
but the
already
point.
better than some people I've seen out there, and they have a little JS around, right next to their names.
And
The
that's
last
one of the
knife
things.
I saw from you at the what you call it,
Blade show.
blade show. Man, that little knife is awesome. Your tang is a little too short, but you can fix it.
Your tang's too long. Hey, I was just born with a short tang, and it's just hard for me to, envision having something that big. But I will tell you that the longer tang, the knife I'm making right now, I'm surprised you haven't said, Chip, you finally have made a tang that's long enough, because the tang is more than half the length of the knife. But now you'll pay attention. But don't let me insult you.
To be fair, I don't know if you noticed, I've been a bit absent from our chat. I will pop in and out every now and then, and because I've been really busy with life stuff and a little bit of everything.
We all get that way.
So,
that's how it is.
Well, let me say this, and I'm going to come back to that. Thank you for the compliments, but all I'm saying is, guys, don't stop what you're doing. Don't let me insult you. I'm just saying, know your work and where you stand. And I think we're going to see a lot of the guys that aren't progressing will probably end up selling equipment, moving on to something else that's exciting, because what's keeping them attached is all the chatter and talk. And the fact that people like Jason and other people that have been on Forged in Fire are so approachable, like professional fishermen, like race car drivers. They're even more so with these great knife makers that have been on Forged in Fire, that it keeps it exciting at the front. And I think that's what we'll see kind of drift away. But don't stop doing it.
It'll be interesting to see how the next 10 years goes, or the next 20 years goes. So as y'all were talking about this, I got to thinking about, I'm a solid Gen X guy, and I remember what it's like to have a phone attached to a cord on the wall. And I remember when the teachers used to say, "You're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket," right? And like all these things, and we culturally advanced to the point where, I can still remember before there was phones. I can still remember before there was YouTube. I can still remember before there was an internet, right?
Can I say one thing, just so, because you caused me to date? I'm the last of the baby boomers, the last month of the baby boomers.
Oh, Chip, man, you shouldn't have admitted to that.
My mom's uncle, who was old enough to be my grandfather, we went to his house. He still had an outhouse, and there was we had a party line in our neighborhood where you would pick it up, and you could listen to whoever was on the phone if they didn't say, "Get off the phone." So it's, the whole community was trying to use one line on a party line.
Right.
Anyway, but you go right ahead.
All that to say, I started in knife making when forums were the internet, before YouTube was a thing. Right. I mean, everything I learned at the beginning was from Blade forums, talking to guys like Bruce Bump and Kevin Cashin, and just absorbing it that way. Now there are folks that have learned from guys like Eric Rivers or Kyle Royer, or they've learned their entire career from media, kind of.
Yes.
And so I don't know what the future's going to be like. So if the market does, God forbid, if the market kind of falls apart or something, and knife makers become rare again, there will always be some. I mean, there have been knife makers all of history, right?
There's always going to be buyers. There's always going to be buyers because once people get word of you take a store-bought knife, whether it's, I'm speaking mainly culinary, but if you take a store-bought knife, and even what you walk into your local Academy Sports and buy, I know that you can pick up a Benchmade here or there in those kind of stores and stuff, but people are going out and paying a lot of money for mass-made stuff. When they get their hands on something that was personally made, and the hardness and the way it holds an edge and the special, that's never going to go away. But that's going to be people. That's going to be a niche market that's maybe not so small, but it's not going to be your average guy, because the bulk of the community is going to be going out to Academy and buying their $12 trade.
That's kind of always been the case, but it's interesting with knives on TV, though. That may have shifted a little. The guy that'll buy a $1,000 rifle won't really blink at a $300 knife. I mean, that's not that big a deal now.
Yeah.
I hope that stays around. But like I said, it'll just be interesting. I'm lousy at predicting things, so I'm not even going to try.
I'm putting my money on.
I know. Like you say, Chip, I'm gonna keep making knives because I get a lot out of it, independent of whatever financial benefit there might be.
Yes.
If you're a new maker listening to this, the financial benefits are great. You should totally do it. If you're an IRS agent listening to this, I don't know what you're talking about. It's a money pit. You're never going to make any. But Mark, you have a comment, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I just really wanted to. I think Chip mentioned it, and then with one of the things that you said, want to give a quick plug for Jerry Gardner. Right. And so he's the one that puts on the so he owns the Blacksmith Experience over on the other side of the bay in Alabama. And then, he does the Battle at the Battleship, challenge, with some of the Forged and Fire contestants. And we do that at Battleship Park out here in Alabama every year for the past couple of years.
It's going to be more, is it like for December or something that's coming up, or January? Because they postponed it.
Yeah, and that's right. And so, I think the first piece I want to, before I bring that up, is that the reason I brought it up is because one of the things he does is he spends a lot of time bringing in veterans with, really bad PTSD that really have trouble socializing and challenges, right? And so, I think it really speaks to that, when everybody, when I've heard multiple folks say that, hey, there's other benefits of this, right? Making something with your hands that takes focus and concentration and gives you something to, that you can, put work and into. And, I think there's a lot of pieces that go into, learning a craft and spending time on things like this. So, and really, I think it goes into one of the things he does, which is just so great, of working with the veterans and bringing folks in like that. So I want to mention him for that. And then with what you brought up is that I think normally we've done I say we just because I've been attending, Josh Ferran, Josh Howard, those guys have all been coming down for it. And, I think it's been on October or November every year for the past couple of years. But this year, I think he's going to try something different. And, we'll see how. I think he's going to maybe see if he can do like some some playoff competitions, maybe finding some non-Forged and Fire contestants and getting a couple of really good local or Alabama or around surrounding state non-Forged and Fire finalists, right? And then competing them against the Forged and Fire guys, and maybe doing that more like the late winter, early spring out here. So I think he's got some great plans, and I haven't seen his shop lately, but I just looked at some of his videos. And he's really upgraded. He's got a bunch of induction forges there now, which are awesome, and a bunch of broad deck. I think I saw like 6 brand new broad deck grinders, lined across a bench that everybody was using. So must be doing well. But yeah, just again, I think folks giving back to the community is something to be said for that.
For sure. Hey, don't forget, if we do lose Forged and Fire, and I'm not seeing it coming back on TV, nobody else is.
No, actually, no, Chip. Let me correct you there. Yeah. I rarely correct you, but they played new episodes starting last week.
Yeah,
was
but
the first time
I think it's
a new episode in forever long.
Weren't those old recorded episodes?
I don't think so.
They're doing a new.
They put some new ones back on for the first time in a year and a half or something.
Well, if they did,
the reason I say that is that remember the episode? I don't know if you've seen those where there was like a kind of like a competition. If you won, then you stayed on. It was like a mini series of it, right? And so there was this one younger, and I watch him on YouTube all the time. Great maker. He went through and college student, and like won almost all of them. And so he posted something that, hey, they're bringing me back, and there was a picture. Competing again. So it sounds like that, that there's a bunch of new stuff that's happening. And so I was excited to hear about that.
They're playing some of those episodes they had set back. I mean, there's 10 or 12 or 15 episodes that have already filmed.
What I had seen is they said, hey, make sure you're watching them. So maybe they're watching the ratings to see if it's worth bringing back full time. So
probably so.
I hope that's the case. But if for some reason it's not, guys, we know we got the Rivers Experience out there on YouTube, and you can find them at theriversexperience.com. You can find the Rivers Experience on YouTube, and you can also find the community along with Eric Rivers at TRE Workshop on Facebook. And that's a great place for you guys to continue to hone your skills, learn skills. Eric's always doing live demonstrations online, forging out knives. He is a wonderful teacher and is lined up, I think, this weekend, as we said, to do some demonstrating at a Renaissance fair. But he will also be at a Texas Knife Show in November, doing instruction and all that and answering questions as he does his work. Guys, I want to point out one thing before we start closing off the air tonight. We've got a few more minutes without mentioning any particular names. We've seen it across social media. These storms really impacted a lot of makers. A lot of talking about the hurricanes on the East Coast. Not only have we had makers that have lost their shops, either to being washed away by the stream or damaged greatly, whole houses, whole shops, burned, washed away, and family members have died as well. So let's just take a moment of silence for the people that have been impacted by that, and God lay his hands on them and bring them peace, and also bring them back into the knife making community. I see the knife making community is supporting them very well. But some of those wounds are going to take a long time to heal for some of the folks that have lost family members. So let's just take a second for that. All right. God, lay your hands on those people. Guys, we're going to be signing off this weekend. Like I said, I'm going to be going back in and see if I can't get that guard made on that. I'm calling it the century knife because it's taken me a century to build it. Otis here, let me just real quickly. I've got two parents. Both of my mother and father are going through severe decline with dementia right now, and we've been trying to get them put away. I developed, I think it was COVID. The doctor said they don't know what it is. It's some virus we haven't heard of that's going around. So in an election year, unless it benefits one side, they're gonna hide whatever's going around, and then just some things with work and travel that's kept me down. So I'm looking forward to really getting back into knife making, where I've been pulled away. Otis here, I know that you're not making knives tomorrow. It's the weekend with your wife. Where y'all going?
Yeah, tomorrow is my chill day, and then late in the evening, around 5 o'clock, I'm going to be heading out to the farm. I have a blind set up.
There you go. All right.
Number 4 on the ground.
Nice.
Listen at you.
Having some fun. By the way, when are you going to kill your first deer? Yeah, I've seen you going out there hunting and taking picture of big feet prints on the ground, but I haven't seen any deer yet.
Well, I did not renew my membership. We all let after I had a close call with some locals that last year at Deer Club, I decided I wasn't joining that one again, and we actually let that lease go because it's crazy out there. I think a lot of ex-cons live on that road, and we don't have anything to do with it anymore. So I do have a friend.
You thought it was Sasquatch, and you no, I don't.
Everybody knows I wouldn't kill a Sasquatch now, but I'd hug one, but I wouldn't kill one. I have a piece of property with a good friend of mine, and it's planted. It's coming up. We've had good rain. The crops on it look great for deer, and the trail cams are very promising. So I think it's going to be this year, Otis here. And additionally, I was saying additionally,
a quick thing, okay?
Yeah,
for
what's
your
that?
first one, if you haven't done anything prior to this, right? Go
Yeah.
for gun season, bring your rifle or your shotgun, whatever it is that you have that is legal for your zone. For example, my
Yeah.
zone is legal for muzzle loader and shotgun, right? I will use a
Right.
muzzle loader and I will use a crossbow just because of the amount of people and neighborhoods around, right? Because it's a small farm, it's 54 acres, but outside those 54 acres, there are housing development and stuff. So, you're limited to what you can do. But for you, you should go for for a gun kill for your first one, so you can get your hands bloody for the first time, and then after that, you can get into more intricate hunting setups such as crossbows or maybe a compound bow.
Well, it's nice for you to say that. I will tell you that I would probably surprise you with how good I am with a crossbow. I don't have a compound bow. I've got an injury in my arm with my bicep, so I can't pull it back. Had to have my bicep reattached several years ago. So, but I do have a crossbow, and I think you'd be quite surprised how well I can shoot
a crossbow. You can reach out there. I mean, my longest kill with the crossbow was 60.
Yeah.
Right around 60. So
Nice.
Do you remember the Olympics where they lit the cauldron with the bow and arrow? That was me.
Yes.
Just so it's on my resume.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going crossbow hunting first, just because that season opens up, and then I've got a 308.
When is deer season in your neck of the woods?
Opens up here in a few weeks.
Yeah, so I'm actually going next weekend with my son down to bow hunt at our place down in Texas, Central Texas. Yeah, so we'll see if the deer are going to cooperate. We've had a funny year here where it was dry, which is bad, and then it rained really well, which was timely. But that means all the deer have fresh, nice green stuff to eat, and so they don't come to our corn feeders. So
that's right.
So preliminary reports on hunting trips has been kind of iffy from my neighbors and stuff.
But you got pigs, right?
Very few. There's some pigs and there's some axis, but not very many. But good bunch of turkeys. I've killed a turkey with the bow a couple of times now. That was a bucket list thing for me, because I never had a place with turkeys until this place. So yeah, we're gonna go next weekend and see what happens. We've got some rifle season plans too.
Yeah, we got some sika down by the east shore, and there's some roe deer roaming around. I never seen one in person, but they've been there. I've seen pictures, and some people actually harvested them. It's a very small population. But by the eastern shore, by the swamps of the eastern shore, there's a lot.
I think I saw a Meat Eater episode where they were hunting sikas along Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah. But personally, I don't think they're really worth it going after. I mean, they're the size of a medium-sized dog. I mean, they're not a very
goat. Yeah.
I've got a friend that builds muzzle loaders up in Maryland, and 17th century muzzle loaders, and he shoots with that exclusively, and he kills a lot of sika deers. He's always showing pictures of what he's killed. But I will tell you, our bow season opens up. I'll have to get you the exact area. I'll send you his link so that you can see him on Facebook.
I'd be interested on a actual replica or of a good muzzle loader.
Well, good.
I have a CVA muzzle loader.
Yeah. Well, this is a flint. He's building flintlocks, so I will send that to you as soon as I come across it here when we get off. Our bow season opens up October 15th through February, around mid-November, November 19th or whatever is our gun season opens up through the end of the season as well. Mark, you making knives tomorrow?
A little bit of both. So in the morning, I'm going to get up and work on that knife a little bit more. Try to get that guard. My goal is to at least get that guard done, and then get all the, at least handle pieces start to be cut out and ready. And then after that, about noon, I'm heading out with the wife. We're heading up. She has a friend who bought a horse from a farrier, up in that does all our horses out at this barn. And so we're going to go up there, and Shannon's going to bring her horse, and we're going to trailer up there, and then they're going to ride at his place for a little while, and I'm going to chat with him and just kind of hang out at his place for the afternoon. So that's going to be tomorrow.
Get you a few watered down beers and go enjoy yourself in the afternoon.
Yeah, well,
Jason,
I'm talking Michelob Ultras.
I just sent you there.
All right. Well, listen, guys, we're all going to get back into it tomorrow, but just let you know, any questions, comments, product reviews, show guest ideas, subscribe or email us at theknivestemplars.com. You can also DM us on Facebook at the Knives Templars podcast group, or visit us at theknivestemplars.com to always stay up to date. This episode was sponsored by the Rivers Experience, Redeemed Steel, Ameribraid, Pops Knife Supplies, Maritime Knife Supply, Phoenix Abrasives, and 10% off at checkout if you put in Templars 10 your order. You can also find our great sponsors, Emily over at castingcrafts.com and clarkironforge.com for great presses, forges, and other supplies. We are available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, Anchor, Amazon, YouTube Video, and CastBox. And again, list of resources, suggested materials, social media handles. Just contact us at the Knives Templars podcast on Facebook, and we'll help set up whatever you're looking for. Also at knivestemplars.com. Again, contact us at knivestemplars@yahoo.com. And with that being said, guys, it's time to say good night.
Good night, my friends.
Good night, everybody.
See you next time.
Good night. Buenos noches.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Well, I guess I'm just going to have to put the Eagle has landed in here because
brought to you by Forecast
I don't
Productions.
know what's going on tonight.
Oinky,
I think I'm just going to leave it in there like that. That was
we made it to Oinky.
Yeah. I was pressing the button, but nothing was happening. So, well, guys, keep my family in your prayers. We got some decisions to make as we're working on the hard parts of life as parents are getting older, and everything will be fine. It always does work out. Mark, certainly in our prayers that that you're going to enjoy the time away and deciding what your next verb is going to be. Otis here, I hope you whack a deer tomorrow. And Jason, just keep on being Jason Fry. You're one of my best buds. I like you. You're a good guy.
I like you too, man.
By the way, I'm going to be in Texas the week of the 28th. I'll be down in Waco, though. So you want to come down and have dinner with me?
The week of the 28th, I'm doing a demo the 26th here in town. I will have been out of town the week before that. I don't know, man. My schedule's so insane that, even to go visit Pee Wee Herman's bike is like, man, that's tough to add one more trip.
Just drive down to Waco. I'll take you to Grandy's.
There you go. just it's only like 6 hours.
Right.
No worries.
All right. We
For
are
you, though, I would consider it.
Thank you. We are gone.